Hello, I'm Ian from Access Expedition Kit, and today we have here Corey from Wild Country Consultants, who has very kindly agreed to give us some best practice advice and safety tips for group expedition camping like DFE.
Hi, I'm Corey from Wild Country Consultants, and I'm going to show you how to assemble an expedition stove and give you some pointers for safest kind of practice using it. So first of all, you're going to usually in a group have two stoves. Rule 101 is you want to have them both together in a cooking area that is far enough away from tents as to be safe, so usually 3 meters minimum. In this case I've chosen an area next to some trees which gives us a kind of natural barrier. And you want to have an area of around 2 meters around your stoves to provide a sort of circle of safety, we call it. So I'm going to unpack my stove from its little baggie, keep that nicely organised next to me. If it's windy, you might want to weigh that down or put it inside a rucksack. I'm going to take the stove apart, so we've got a lid, a couple of little bags, I'll get those in a minute. The strap, I'm going to put that inside the bag to keep it all neat and tidy. We've got a lower windshield. Inside the stove there are 2 pans, here and here, and a top windshield that has some little feet on it. Inside bag number 1, we've got our burner. A fuel burner, so in this case we'll be using Meths. This is a Meths fuel burner that can sit just inside the circular hole in the bottom of the lower windshield, and then the top windshield can just sit on the top and twist into place. And in our last bag we've got a little handle, it's there, and we can pop all the bags together. There we go. I'm going to pop those underneath something to keep them weighed down. Okay, now that our stove is set up and ready to be lit, we are going to talk about the refilling station, if you like. This is your typical fuel container. Now it's a safety container, but we need to take that away from our cooking area because we don't want to have fuel next to an open flame. So we're going to take that minimum 3 meters away from our stove, and that's going to live there. Now we're going to take our burner over to the fueling station and refill it here, not next to the stove. So I'm going to do that. Just take the lids off, pop the burner on the floor, unscrew the top, and then push the button in and pour the fuel in. Now these burners are hollow, so as you fill them up, the level seems to go down. It's really important that you fill them up as much as you can so that you can get as much cooking out of it before the fuel runs out. Okay, so I've filled that right up. I'm then going to screw the safety bottle shut, not too tight or it'll be impossible to undo, but just fully shut, and then another quarter turn. We're going to put that fuel bottle upright, easy to see, far enough away from the stoves. I'm then going to take my burner, holding it around the edge like that, so that if I do spill any, it's less likely to get all over my hand. If I was to carry it like that and spill it, I'm going to get a really methylated spirit hand. So I'm then going to carry that back over to my stove and pop that straight into the middle there. Okay, you get 2 lids with your burner. One of them has a thread for screwing and it has a rubber seal. The other one has a lid that can twist. That's the simmering lid. That's the regular lid. Do not put that regular lid anywhere near a hot item or the flame, because it will melt and then be useless at holding the fuel in there. Keep hold of them Okay, so to light our stove, we're going to take the top windshield off. This is the safest practice. Now we can see the burner. I'm going to take my matches, get that ready. And get a pan ready to put straight onto the flame. It's important that you set these things up so you're not going to waste fuel. I'll pour a bit of water in there. Okay, so we're ready to go. I'm going to light my match and then just pop that match near the surface of the Meths. Now, to start with, the flame is very difficult to see. So the way to test that is to just wave your hand a good foot above and you'll be able to feel the warmth on the back of your hand, all right? It's really important that you use the back of your hand a good distance away because instinctively, if it's too hot, I'm going to snatch my hand away like that. The worst thing I'm going to do is give myself a slap in the face. If I use the front of my hand like that, instinctively the reaction is to swipe away, so I may well drag the whole thing all over myself. So always use the back of your hand. You can actually see that flame now that it's established. So I'm going to take the outer windshield and pop that back onto the stove. There we go. If it's really windy, then the safest practice changes and you want to light the Meths with the windshield intact as it is there. Now that the flame is on, I'm going to put my water in the pan onto the flame, sitting on top of the feet inside the stove. I'm then going to take the lid, pop that on the top, and put the handle on top of the lid to show me that that is on. I like to teach that because it clearly shows that that stove is lit. Inside your circle of safety, you should only have one person per stove. Any more than that, and people are going to be getting in each other's way, and it becomes a little bit unsafe. Right. Some stoves will come with a kettle, others won't. In this case, let's just imagine that we are making a hot drink. I'm just going to pop this water over into the kettle. Always make sure if you are pouring a hot liquid, put whatever you're pouring, the vessel that you're pouring it into onto the ground. Don't hold on to it because you could pour boiling hot water all over yourself. You want to avoid that. And then pop the lid onto my kettle, and that can sit quite happily on the feet in the stove as well. Okay, now we're ready to put our stove out. Now on a Meths stove, that involves snuffing the flame out. So you're going to take your simmering lid, that's the one with the moving parts. You're going to hold on to it in your fingers like this and line up your arm like a dart player, I like to teach. So just line it up and just place it in onto the top of the flame. It's important that you're confident when you're doing this. The flame will not hurt you if you're sort of swift about it. If you, as often happens, throw it in, then you end up with a lid in a hot area where the only way to get it out is to burn yourself, and you have to wait for the flame to go out. So always make sure that you deftly put that lid and snuff the flame out. It won't hurt you, that lid's going to protect your hand from the flame as much as possible. Now that that flame's out, let's say that you've run out of fuel even, that burner's going to be hot. It's really important that you don't touch this until it's cooled down. Give it a few minutes, give it 5 minutes or so to be on the safe side. If you want to check whether it's cooled down or not, obviously you're just going to have to touch it tentatively, gingerly, just to see if it's still hot. If it is, leave it for a bit longer. Once it's cooled down enough, you can take that burner out and walk back over to your cooking area. Whilst the stove's lit, it's really important that you adopt safest posture, which is, you notice I'm in running man position. This basically means that I can react very quickly and get out of the way of the stove. If I'm kneeling down or sitting down and say this gets knocked over, I can't react and move out of the way quickly. So running man is the safest position to be in. Right, now we're ready to put our stove away. It's all cooled down, so I'm going to disassemble the top lid, pull the little feet up, and then take my burner, screw the lid back on, and then just give it an extra quarter turn to be on the safe side. Take my simmering lid, pop that over the top, pop the windshields together like so, hands can go back together, and then its handle can go back in its little baggie, back inside the stove, the burner in an upright position, inside its bag, inside the stove, and then lid back on top, strap last, keep everything together. So, and then that can live quite happily back in its bag. Once you are finished cooking and overnight, it's really important that you clean your pan set and tuck it all away neatly and tidily like that into your tent. Not only is that hygienic, but it will prevent attracting animals around your tent, which is definitely something you want to avoid.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Corey. And we trust you found this video a useful resource, and let's make our campsites safer for all.